Man behind the curtain. Yeah. Hello and welcome to another edition of Men Behind the Curtain, the podcast about everything and nothing all at once. I am Pitt.
I'm Eli. How's it going, everybody? As you can see today, we are actually recording this remotely. So I'm in my home office and Pitt's over at his place right now. Fuck y'all. I'm quite proud of this.
Hold on, I can actually pull up the scores. How did they do? Do you want to just
Let's not talk about today.
we can talk about how Pittsburgh did.
I didn't even check. I didn't scroll far enough to see it. I saw
3-0.
fucking hell. I saw their game and I'm like, yep, you know what? I'm done here.
Yeah, well,
since he plays tomorrow, so
man, nobody cares. It's only Cincinnati. They'll lose. Doesn't matter. I mean, they'll take it down to the wire, and it's Cincinnati. It's what they do. They're kind of like the new Steelers. They're the Bengals fans are practically having coronaries. We used to do that in Pittsburgh all the time. Right now, we're just going to suck, so we don't care.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I was shocked that they came within a point last week with Kansas City of all teams. Like, I was surprised.
Yeah, well, Kansas City's not playing up to par either. I mean, Mahomes isn't performing. Kelsey's not performing. Pacheco is out for the rest of the year due to a broken fibula. So,
fun.
Kansas City's just not performing all around. So it's just one of those things that it's like, I don't know if Cincinnati should be proud that they came within one, or they should be kicking themselves because they couldn't beat an inferior team.
Allegedly, the refs fucked them over again. I didn't watch the game, so I didn't see the call, but allegedly that was the refs' fault.
Well, the very last call, that pass interference, it was pass interference, and I do have several friends of mine that are Bengals fans that did say that it is pass interference. However, my issue with the whole thing was usually when there's less than 2 minutes left to play, the refs normally just let them play the game. And I think that's the biggest issue right now. Oh, I'm being delivered food at the same time. This is great. A lot of food. Awesome. Plate will stay there. I got to keep the animals away from it. Speaking of animals.
Yeah.
So I was told that there would be more added to this at some point. So I'm hoping there's some in there.
I have been thinking I may have to start just Googling for random things because I know that Kaz is mostly the one who's been writing some of these, and that can be a lot for one person to do.
Yeah, well, she's got ADHD, so it'll help keep her occupied. All right, first word association. Best advice you've been given.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take a cop out here, and I have something on my wall right here. I took this from work and everything. It just says, "Worrying does not empty tomorrow of its trouble; it empties today of its strength." So, if you can't
affirmations,
yeah. So basically, if you can't do anything about it today, it's the best thing to do is just put it out of your mind. Like, I have a tendency to hyper fixate and focus on shit that I cannot do anything about, and all it really does is just stress me out.
Yep. Best advice I've ever been given was don't fuck that girl.
Oh, well, you know what? In that thread, I'll go with another one. And any of the older crowd will probably recognize this one, is don't get high on your own supply. Because the movie I'm thinking about where he did that, it did not end well for him.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, it's all about the cash, man. It's all about the cash.
He took a lot of the motherfuckers with him, though.
No, best advice I've ever been given was probably, in all honesty, was to treat everyone as you would like yourself to be treated. That was probably the best advice I've ever been given.
Yeah. And I'll even second that one. There's there's another way of phrasing that I liked, which is basically treat everybody from the janitor to the CEO with the same level of respect, because you never know where the and I have seen this happen at work. I'm sure pretty much everybody has seen this at work. Is that I'll be talking to somebody who is my peer, and then they get a fucking promotion and they're above me. Now, if I've pissed them off in the past, that might bite me in the ass.
All right. Oh, well, you probably don't have much to say on this. I actually have a lot to say on this one, and I could do it for hours. And a matter of fact, I do every 2 weeks on the Omnis Chronicles podcast. Klingon Empire.
I don't have a whole lot of me. Obviously, I am a Star Trek fan. Honestly, one of the funniest things, and hell, we talked about this when I was over at your cookout. Just some of the different cosmetic changes they've done over the years in the series. Although I feel like we as fans do not acknowledge enough that the original Klingon was fucking Christopher Lloyd doing blackface.
Well, it was basically the Klingon version of Doc Brown in a time ship made by the Klingons. So
that's fair.
So since we're on Klingon Empire, Gowron.
Nice.
Glory to you and your house.
You know what though, and I'm sure since you're on a Star Trek podcast, I'm sure this has come up once or twice, but by far the most badass line that Picard ever got to say to somebody is, "You feel free to test that assumption at your own convenience."
Yeah, absolutely great line. Fed in the Klingons' Great Hall to, I believe at the time it was Chancellor Duras. Like I said, it's Klingon Empire. I can go on for hours upon hours upon hours, and we're also not that type of podcast. So all I got to say is Klingon Empire, they rule. They are the Vikings of space. So there we go.
Oh, I do remember though. For one, I actually really, really liked the Klingons in Star Trek Generations, and I kind of wish that they were more the main villains instead of Sauron. But I don't remember a lot of it. But for some reason, I remember the two main ones, the women. I just remember thinking that they could get it.
Well, so I think you got your franchises crossed because Sauron is Lord of the Rings. So
well, that was Malcolm McDowell's name in
Soren. Soren.
Well, it's the same spelling though, isn't it?
Oh no,
really? Fuck.
Yeah, it's Soran. So
I don't obviously I know who Sauron is. Hell, we've talked about that like already 2-3 times on here. But I guess I got the pronunciation wrong.
Yeah, it's okay. I forgive you. I know you're not like a Trekkie like I am, because I've got the entire Starfleet playbook right here on my wall behind me. So
I have a friend, I've mentioned her to you before, in Missouri. She's a massive Trek fan. You and her would get along famously.
Awesome. Let's bring her on the show.
I mean, I could probably ask her if she actually has a laptop and everything.
Yeah, I just think you'd be kind of bored since we're gonna be talking about Star Trek for like over an hour.
I mean, I wouldn't give a shit. I would have something to chime in with, just not that much.
All right, so we don't bore everybody else out there with my Star Trek nerd. We're gonna move on to our third word association, which is, what is your Hogwarts house?
So I took the Pottermore test some years ago and it put me in Gryffindor, but I disagree. And the reason I disagree is I just feel like I don't have enough of the traits. Like Gryffindor they value, bravery and loyalty and all that. I am loyal to my friends. However, when it comes to bravery, I am too much of, that's not my fucking problem. So now, per my own assumption, honestly, I would put myself in Hufflepuff, and it really has more to do with the fact that I'm not as much of a dick as Slytherin, and honestly, Slytherin, the whole mudblood thing, I'm going to be honest, they kind of give me racist vibes a little bit. And Ravenclaw, look, I think too literally. Ravenclaw's password is a riddle, and I would be fucked.
I don't know. I've taken that sorting quiz multiple times, and I either get Slytherin or I get Hufflepuff or I get Ravenclaw. Not once have I ever gotten Gryffindor, which is fine with me because I think Gryffindor is more about the entitled, the nepotism, the whole like, oh, well, my family is prim and proper and we have higher standings. It's like, I one of the high schools I went to with was pretty much separated by whatever amount of money your parents made. So it's like, and my dad had a good job. My dad worked at General Motors, stuff like that, and he retired from General Motors. But one of the high schools I went to, I was considered one of the poor kids, which was weird to me because the high school that I came from prior to that, I was considered one of the rich kids. So I was treated differently from both schools, and it was like, I don't get it. So yeah, that's how I feel about Gryffindor. Not saying I don't like the characters from Gryffindor, because there are some stand-up characters that come out of that house and whatnot, and it makes for a great story. But yeah, I think I need to create my own house.
I would be up for that. While you're mentioning that, though, I do want to point out, we as fans kind of forget the fact that, honestly, Harry is kind of a fuckboy. Like, he's a trust fund kid. He was a jock. He married his high school sweetheart, and he grew up to be a fucking magical cop. Like, he has all of the symptoms of just being an all-around dick.
Yeah. The writing's right there, literally. All right, we're gonna reach in, grab our last one here, and gonna put the ass over there. And the last one is overrated things.
Shit. There's a lot of things that I can. Normally, I would be able to think of a lot of things off the top of my head.
Yeah, but now you're on the spot.
I know that I've said before, like, as a musician, that I do think Taylor Swift is overrated. I just don't fucking care about anything she's ever done. What's another one? Shit. I may have to circle back to that one. Okay. Or we may just leave Taylor Swift as my answer.
There are so many overrated things. We can start regionally. I don't know what it is with you people down here, and when I say you people, I mean those from the Southwest Ohio area. Fucking Marion's pizza is fucking dog shit, okay? It's cracker, ketchup, and fucking eraser shavings, okay? That's all fucking Marion's pizza is. And I don't care if they're fucking watching this. Fuck you. Your pizza sucks ass. Number 2, what is this fucking Gold Star Skyline chili bullshit? That's not fucking – that is like fucking swamp ass pulled out of the fucking swamp after a fucking ogre took a fucking shit. It is the nasty ass motherfucking shit. Over fucking rated. That's why you sponsor the fucking Cincinnati Bengals, is because you serve shit. Okay. That's all fucking Skyline and Gold Star is. Fucking over the fucking top, over fucking rated shit. Okay. Where else do we want to go? We can keep going fucking local shit, but overrated. Fucking molested cucumbers, man. Fucking pickles. Over fucking rated. You don't fucking molest cucumbers. If you're Catholic, you molest altar boys, not fucking cucumbers.
Oh God, you mentioning that just reminds me of that clip I sent you with Hellsing Ultimate. It was like, what's this? A priest with no little Timmy tied to your belt. Progress. By the way, that little rant, that's going to make a really good clip if you want to post that.
It's probably going to go up, and it's probably going to get removed immediately because but whatever. I don't fucking care, because I will fucking say it all goddamn day long. Stop molesting cucumbers.
Oh, I meant the part about Gold Star. Oh,
Oh, well, that too. Yeah, that's gonna fucking go. I'll fucking tag him in it for all I fucking care.
I do have some friends who would get an absolute fucking thrill out of the cucumber bit though, because so we know one woman up in Canada who she fucking deep throated a cucumber for some weird reason, and honestly, we don't let her live it down because she's a bitch.
Yeah, well, I mean, the skills are impressive. I mean, nothing I have to worry about. I think we're good there. But yeah, how much did she get paid?
Not enough because her front porch is still looks like a fucking trap house. Like I make this joke all the time. This particular one, and I might try to send you a picture if I can find it. I say all the time, her front porch looks like a fucking concrete slab sitting on top of empty milk crates.
Jesus Christ.
And there's a rake on the ground. There's no rail. So there's a rake on the ground next to the porch. So our theory is this is the warning, because if you fall on the rake, you're gonna have a really bad fucking day. So it's like, I don't have a rail, but I have something you really don't want to fall on. So we think that's her security system.
Remember the one episode of Family Guy where Stewie puts the cucumber on the couch?
Yes. Also, that's another thing, is that we repeatedly say that she looks like Peter Griffin in a wig. Oh no, I did one better. So it's weird. She's Canadian. They made a video on the 4th of July, and they were playing I think it was Skinner, Freebird.
Oh.
Fly free.
Yeah, it's another white person anthem.
Well, so she starts doing this weird fucking thing, and we're like, so we put it side by side with Peter Griffin when he did the time travel.
That's like probably my favorite fucking Peter Griffin like short is just him doing the Axel F like. So it's every time I hear it, it's like, ah. So I'm gonna throw in one more random word association or phrase, just because it popped in my mind, and because I'm probably right there in line with you, or right beside you, or behind you on this one. Dumb white people shit.
Anything having to do with wild animals. I still say one of my favorite ones, and this is actually still a pinned video on my TikTok. I got so many people pissed off at this one. Is a fucking French dude jumping off of an apartment building. Now, the building had to be a good 15, 20 floors, and he jumps into a swimming pool. First of all, that had to fucking hurt. It's a swimming pool. But second of all, the fucking water is green. And when I called it white people shit, I didn't even call it white people shit. I just had the letters WPS come up on the screen next to me. And I still had people get all in their fucking feelings about it. But as I said last week, they couldn't prove me wrong. So I'm like, I don't know what you want from me.
I don't know. I mean, me being Caucasian, I don't know. I sit back and I'm like, man, that's just some dumb white shit. And we've known each other for a while, and if you can't tell at home, and I know you really can't tell looking at it, because Eli actually has on his white face light, so it's kind of washing out his skin color. Eli is not a white man. He's.
I was trying to block out some of the light here.
But I mean, it's like the thing that the dumb white people shit thing that gets me every time is, you go to a club, you go to a restaurant, you go to a bar, you go wherever, and then you have white people coming in, and you have like a black waitress, or a black hostess, or you have a black bartender, or you just have them come in contact with somebody who's not white. And immediately white people try to connect with them by using vernacular or slangs or inflections in their voices that are stereotypical, and it's condescending, and it's like the fucking just like, dude, just fucking talk.
One of my favorite ones like that. It was, maybe you'll remember this. It was an old episode of Fresh Prince. Vivian was called, and mind you, this was old. This was original Aunt Viv, dark skinned Aunt Viv.
Okay.
They had some British people over at the house, and apparently Phil started speaking with a British accent, not even realizing he was doing it. And as soon as they leave the room, Viv is like, "You're doing it again. The last time that we were around some people, I couldn't understand you for a week." And then he's talking to her normally, like, "Oh, Viv, I don't have a clue what you're talking about." Then they call him from the other room, "Cheerio."
So what's actually really funny about this? So it's like, my daughter's mother is Hispanic and is pretty fluent. And every time she was on the phone with her mother, my ex-mother-in-law, and her older sister entered the room and they were actually talking about her previously, the conversation, like mid-sentence, flipped from English to Spanish. And it would carry on. And the whole time she's speaking Spanish. But the thing is she couldn't disconnect the Spanish. So she started asking me questions. I'd be in the kitchen doing something, or I'd be watching TV, and she'd start talking to me. And I still think she's talking to her mother because all I hear is Spanish over here, and and it pissed her off. And she looked at me, he's like, "I just said something to you." I was like, "I'm sorry, I thought you were still talking to your mother." She's like, "No, I asked you this," and I was like, so I started flipping the script because she spoke Spanish, I speak German. So every time she said something to me in Spanish, I just looked at her and was like, "Was, que, was." K, Voss, K, and it just pissed her off even more. So, but yes, there's a whole bunch of dumb white people shit that goes on, and I could probably get on a soapbox about it. But it's like, you know what? Yeah, whatever. Dumb white people shit. If you got some dumb white people shit, put it in the comments. If you know what? If you just got dumb people shit, make note of it in the fucking comments. I want to hear what dumb fucking people do. What you think dumb people fucking do. Just put it in the comments. Send us an email at menbehindcurtain@gmail.com.
So one other thing I'm gonna say about that. So one guy that I met on TikTok, he would do this thing every now and again. Now it's a white dude, Alex. And Alex, if you watch this, what's up? Cool fucking dude. He would show them doing some weird shit, like making fucking like when they do like them fucking recipes in a toilet bowl.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Then he'll just pop up. He would have the little background where it has like space and shapes and all that shit with your face floating past. He would do that background, and he was like, "It's white people TikTok. It's when white people make a TikTok and put the Y in white people."
You know what? No, actually, you know what? I want to explore this a bit more. Here's the distinctive difference between the cultures. When you were a kid, how did your parents make Kool-Aid?
Oh shit. Well, so that depends on which one of my parents was making the Kool-Aid. But my mom was a lot more liberal with the sugar than what my dad was. I'll put it that way. And you know what? I'll take it a step further. My dad, he used to say that he doesn't even care about seasoning. Anything more than salt and pepper was lost on him. Apparently, he didn't have the palate for it. My dad was the only fucking person I have ever known in my entire life who prefers box Kraft mac and cheese.
Yeah, you know what? I'm as white as possibly. My beard's white, my skin's white. I practically glow in the fucking dark when I'm fucking naked. I don't even like boxed Kraft mac and cheese. It's, I'll eat it in a pinch if it's a go-to. It's like I'm down. It's like, oh shit, I had a bill that I completely forgot about, and I've got like $3 left. Yeah, I'll either buy a fucking pack of ramen or I'll buy some fucking mac and cheese. Ramen usually goes a little bit longer because
you fuck ton of them.
Yeah, you get a shit ton. But box mac and cheese. I mean, it's like, okay, so where I grew up, I can kind of consider it the hood and stuff like that. But when you had a homemade hamburger, did you have the onions and the peppers just kind of hanging out of it after it was smashed down in the frying pan on the stove?
I have seen that, but you know what you made me think of, and I'm pretty sure you know. I'm pretty sure you remember this bit was fucking Eddie Murphy Raw when he was
Oh
talking.
shit! Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I completely fucking forgot about that.
Oh, and anybody watching this, if you have not seen that stand up, please go check it out. To this day, it is one of the best stand ups I have ever seen in my entire life. But yeah, his mom just threw all that shit together and then now go on outside and play. But all of his friends have fucking McDonald's. And it's like, what you do with that welfare green pepper burger? My mother made it.
I fucking completely forgot about that fucking stand-up bit.
Oh,
sorry, Eddie. I did not mean to step on your toes. Maybe it was subliminal and it stuck with me for my entire fucking life because it is that fucking great, but it is so fucking true. So, oh yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, you can go throughout every single culture across the entire world. And there's going to be differences and stuff like that. But the thing is every child drinks fucking Kool-Aid, and it's like one of those things. Like my way my parents made fucking Kool-Aid. Yeah. The way my friend Fred's grandmother made the Kool-Aid. It's probably why I had a cavity by the time I was 8 years old. Holy shit, was it good?
I will say though, so to my mom's credit, you know, she would try to make things, you know, easier on herself. So she would make shit like one way for everybody. And my dad was more likely to complain. So I had pretty much Kraft mac and cheese for a good chunk of my childhood. I did not have homemade mac and cheese until I was like fucking 12, 13 years old. And at that point, I'm like, why the fuck have we not been having this?
Yeah, no, it's different. It's like, you know, I go over to my friend Fred's house, like, God, probably every 2 or 3 weeks because his family would get together and have a big Sunday brunch after church. And I mean, when I mean Sunday brunch, you know, I mean a fucking buffet.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was, I mean, there were collard greens and cornbread and chicken and ribs and ham and all sorts of shit. I mean, it's like, and the thing is his grandmother, they pretty much adopted me into their family, and she would actually make a care pack. She's like, this is for you. You take this home. This is your dinner. And I'm like, okay. And then she'd be like handing me 3 more bags and be like, this is for your dad because I know he's not going to eat and I know he can't cook. All right. So to be honest, my dad was a great experimenter. He was a great experimenter. He did the stereotypical single father white male thing where you basically cooked everything until it was either wood or it was mush. So let's put it this way. I don't have to ever worry about like salmonella or any bacteria because it fucking burned out. It was so fucking dry. It's pork is not supposed to fucking splinter like fucking wood boards. That's the way my dad did everything. But it's like, that's what I grew up on. I grew up on that. And it's like, and thank God I learned how to fucking cook. Because if I cook like my dad, I would probably have no friends.
Yeah, I know. And that was the other thing is that because of my dad and because of how he liked things to be done, and my mom was not going to cook 3 different ways for all these different people. I understand that. I'm not mad at her for that. So because of him, like he's the reason that I never really developed like that much of a taste or a preference for steak, because my mom would make steak the way that he likes. The way that he likes was too goddamn tough. And by the time I could finally fucking swallow the food, there was no flavor left. I had chewed it out 5 minutes ago.
That's why most white people put ketchup on their steak, which is wrong.
That's why, yeah, that's how we were using fucking A1. Which now that I'm older, I understand that A1 is ass. I know that now.
Nothing belongs on your fucking steak. The only thing you do on your fucking steak is you put a fucking pat of butter on it while it's resting, so it soaks up all that fat again and all those juices and everything else. Fucking leave it alone. You put fucking A1 on there, A2, A3. I don't fucking care. You can put fucking BB8 on there for all I fucking care. It's not going to make the steak any fucking better.
Yeah. My mom would try to do so many different things to try to work with me because, again, it's not that I didn't like it. It did taste good. It just took me too fucking long to chew it and digest it.
So I'm trying to digest something here. I was watching your TikTok earlier. Looks like you have another troll.
Are you talking about?
Is this a new troll or is this another troll that has come back or is it just the ongoing troll?
Which one are we talking about?
Oh God, I don't know. There was like 4 of them that you posted
on. So let me. I know that I made one earlier today. This was actually a mutual of mine. This one, Wendy, is that the one you're thinking of?
Yes, I think that is that one.
So yeah, I originally stitched a video, some random dude, I don't know who it was, and he tried to say that is hating Trump more important than the relationship with your friends and family? Mind you, motherfucker has a Trump hat as he's making the video, to which I said, number one, that tells me this is a part of your personality. That's already a red flag. Number two, did you ever actually ask for reasons why they don't support him? And then I had somebody come in my comments, and it was a mutual of mine. I didn't realize it was a mutual, but she said that, and then it says friends right next to it. And she's like, "Oh, did you ever do research on Trump?" I'm like, so I asked her, I'm like, "What specifically do you want me to look at?" She didn't answer the question. No, she then counters with, the fuck did she say next? I made a comment. So I said, "What specifically do you want me to look at?" Because he's been a shitty person since like 70s or 80s. And then I point out how the fucking Nixon administration went after him. And then she tried to say, "Well, that's back when you all loved him." I'm like, who the fuck is you? I wasn't here. And honestly, I was completely ambivalent. I had no feelings toward him one way or the other back when, you know, he did fucking Home Alone 2 as a cameo or when he's doing game shows. I don't know that much about him. I don't give a fuck. But when he decided to get into politics, everybody knows when you go into politics is when your whole life is going to get dragged out for us. I think that's how it might have been Capone. He actually got in a jam because of that. It was one, if it wasn't Capone, it was one of those old mobsters. Basically, he wanted to get into politics, and they're like, "Don't get into politics because then they'll start digging into your shit." And he ended up going to fucking prison over it. I'll have to look it up. If it wasn't Capone, it was one of them.
Well, no, Capone went to prison because he got caught for the tax evasion. That's the only thing that could get him on.
I mean, they might have caught it because they were looking through his shit because he was trying to be political.
Maybe somebody named like Bugsy or something like that. So
it could be. But it.
My thing is you know shit is bad when the fucking Nixon administration comes after you.
And so for those of y'all watching, this is what he's talking about, because I made a video reply to this woman earlier today, and that was exactly what I said. I'm like, the Nixon administration admitted they started the war on drugs to go after fucking black and brown people. That's the whole reason they did it. And the Nixon administration, these are the same motherfuckers that looked at Trump like, "Hey, you're kind of racist." Jesus Christ. But she never replied to me.
Never replied.
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
You hear the sorrow and disappointment in my voice.
And that's the thing. So just to finish the story for any of y'all watching right now. So the last comment she tried to make had to do with, she then pivoted and she's talking about Kamala, that she left people in prison, to which I'm like, all right, let me start over. First of all, you never answered my question. What do you want me to dig into? Second of all, again, Nixon administration, they did all this. And then, of course, I rattle off a couple other things that he's done, like Central Park 5. Even after exoneration, he still says, well, I'm sure they were guilty of something. Of course, they don't look Indian to me. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. How did he not hear himself in that? And then I pointed out with Kamala, it's a talking point. So let me say this. As a prosecutor, I do have a little bit of natural distrust towards her. Technically, she is a cop. Let me say that. However, I do know that she has knocked down marijuana charges from felony to misdemeanor. She has declined to prosecute sex workers in California. And I know there were times where she could have prosecuted somebody and had them go to jail, but she created a work program, something along those lines, and basically almost like community service. They were able to work it off and not go to jail, and then she was able to actually get them in the workforce and basically get them to be a straight era, a legit citizen. And then I ended the video with like, but also, she's a prosecutor, not a judge. She doesn't sentence anyone to shit. She didn't leave anyone in jail. And even if she did, I thought MAGA was about law and order. That's not a good argument from y'all. What the fuck?
Well, if it doesn't fit their agenda, then it's not good enough or it's wrong.
And I was not even being this aggressive with her. I could have. I probably should have. But I was actually being very respectful when I said all of this.
Yeah.
And she had nothing for me. Let me look. So I made that video at like 8 this morning. It is currently 6:30 as we are recording this. I bet she has not replied to me yet, but let me find out.
I know, I'm going to pull it up too, see what I find. So, real time.
Nope. I have no new comments. So, nah, she didn't have shit to say to me.
Well, I guess that means you won.
And I even told her, I'm like, if you want to have a conversation about this, I'm willing to have a conversation. Again, I do have a natural distrust for law enforcement, which I think honestly, I think it's to a point a lot of us do. And it's not even a cultural or skin color thing. A lot of us do because we know that they're dicks.
Yeah.
But like, so if you want to have a conversation, I'm willing to have a conversation, but give me something specific to go off of. I'm not going to reply to talking points because that's bullshit.
Yeah, no, and I have to agree with you on the distrust of law enforcement. And it's sad because I know a lot of, police officers, sheriff's department. I used to work with several of them with some of the work I did. And there were good people, but then you also had that one asshole that was over there that basically wanted to rule the roost, and he was that stereotypical, law enforcement individual that basically wanted to give hell to everybody. And if you didn't fall in line with him, then, he was making things difficult you in the workplace. So you would have people, follow suit, which is not how you do anything, especially in law enforcement. That's where we get, the dumbasses who pull people over that, pull friggin' sidearms on somebody who is failing to identify themselves at a traffic stop, because the law states you do not need to provide anything. If you're just being pulled over for whatever it is, you can ask, well, why did you pull me over? And the driver's license, I'm not providing that information until I've been, given this information. So it's just one of those things that it's like you have, and this is with any group out there. I don't care if it's cops, teachers, except for like, the entire board of Skyline and Gold Star and Marion and stuff like that. But you got all these people out, you got some of these people out there that, take on this particular type role. And then, there's that whole adage, one bad apple spoils the bunch. And that's where everybody, they want to base it off just these small instances and, assign it to an entire group. Now, yes, I do have a distrust of law enforcement. I grew up in a city that crime was very prevalent. And, you would hear about, somebody getting shot by police down the street. And, it turns out that they just happened to be in the wrong place, at the wrong time. And it was just happening more and more. Friends getting pulled over, put in handcuffs just because of the color of their skin and stuff like that. So it's one of those things that it's like, yes, it happens. And it happens far too often, more than what it should, because it should not happen at all. Not every one of these individuals is a bad person. It's the people who are doing these heinous acts that are the bad people.
Yeah. And I know I got into, I would say it was less than a debate. I was in somebody's comment section. Somebody I actually went to high school with, and I think he's a cop in Cincinnati, I believe. Which
tell him to stay away from the Gold Star chili.
So I know I said something about that, and when he tried to get a little bit defensive, what I said was, I'm like, literally every single one of us have all known somebody at our job who fucking sucks at their job. They should not be here. They should be fired. And I'm like, cops are not any different. Like, y'all are still people. So you're going to have somebody there who's a fuck up. So the difference is the stakes are much higher when they fuck up. And my thing about it is that, and this is my personal opinion, I think that the relationships and the trust could get so much better if they would actually hold people accountable. They keep everything as a us versus them type of thing. And it's like, fuck, there was a line I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but essentially, if all of you protect the one bad one, then you're all fucking bad.
Absolutely. Speaking of grouping people into stereotypes, here's an individual that I would never have grouped in this stereotype. What the fuck is happening in South Carolina?
Oh my God. Oh, that one took me a second because, oh, Jesus, fuck, yeah. Mark Robinson?
Yeah. Mr. Black KKK. I wonder, I honestly wonder how those fucking sheet-headed fuckers feel about that.
Oh my God. Me and you said this before about Clarence Thomas, but we were joking. This motherfucker is actually Clayton Bigsby. Jesus. But like that's so wild to me. And it was earlier this year. Let's see, this is September. Yeah. Earlier this year, where Trump tried to say that, oh, he's like Martin Luther King on steroids. He's MLK 2. Like, hold up. When the fuck did people become movies? What the fuck? And
he's about the size of MLK on like fucking Cheesecake Factory, if anything.
No, my favorite one about that, just as a side note, I think they had a pick that MLK's son, who's MLK the third, was on he was on the news or something. This was an old meme. But he's a heavier dude. And they said, like, this is MLK the third, fourth, and fifth.
I saw that come out, and as I thought things could not get fucking worse, with fucking Nicky Jam, which I happened to see his fucking performance at a fucking Trump rally, and I'll try to find it again. I will post a fucking link, because my favorite thing is, I mean, we're talking, it's literally like a fucking nursing home, and he's fucking doing his shit on fucking stage, but there is one guy in the back, probably about like 4 or 5 rows in the back, sitting back. I guess it's his wife and girlfriend. I don't want to out the guy, so he was just there with a lovely woman. But he's sitting there, he's just like, the fuck? And you just cannot believe what he's seeing. And just as I thought things could not get fucking worse with people coming out and endorsing the fucking Cheeto.
Although yeah. I heard that Nicky Jam deleted his tweet in support of Trump after Trump got him fucking wrong and thought it was a woman. But while you're talking about that, this was a month ago, so it's not really news anymore. But did you see the clip when when Kid Rock performed at the RNC?
I kind of forget about Chris Rock because he and Axl Rose look like they're two lesbians that own a bookstore.
I mean, first of all,
no, that's Mickey Rourke. Sorry, wrong idiot. No, I honestly forget about Robert Ritchie as much as I possibly can.
Honestly, he's at a stage in his life. You're not a kid anymore. You can drop that moniker. You can fight The Rock for the name Rock. I don't think it's going to go in your favor, but it'll be fun to see. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's like Kid and plays what Man and Play now.
Boys to Men is fucking men to geriatrics now. I
mean, new men on the block.
But yeah, no, the clip from Kid Rock performing at the RNC, like he had like 20 people crowding the stage in front of him, and I think it was American Badass that he was doing, because of course it was American Badass.
Oh, of course.
Well, you know what? Let me back up a little bit. Honestly, if you're Kid Rock and you're performing at any political event, honestly, that's the song you should be doing. I'll actually give him that. I'll give him that much.
Honestly, if you're Kid Rock and performing at any political event, you should really think about retirement, because that's about as best of a crowd you're ever going to get again.
That's true. But yeah, he had like maybe 20 people in front of him on the stage who were kind of into it, and everybody else is just, oh yeah, that's going on. Okay.
It's like, who's the greasy white guy that smoking meth that is up here?
Like, look, it pains me to admit, back when he did Devil Without a Cause, I was a fan. I had his album Devil Without a Cause back when he did Ball with a Ball and Cowboy and shit. But and I had History of Rock that had American Badass on it. That was the last album of his that I bought, because I know after that he like fucking went country, which that country song he did with Sheryl Crow, that was fucking ass.
Well, it was country, and Sheryl Crow was on it too. So, and then you added Kid Rock, so it did not make it any fucking better.
Nah. And honestly, the more I found out about him as an individual, he's just a horrible fucking human being. I know he has he has a song. I don't know what song it was, but his grown ass is talking about an underage girl, and apparently MAGA didn't mind that.
Well, it's because MAGA doesn't mind that. I mean, I've seen interviews where people are, talking with MAGA supporters at rallies and stuff like that, and they're presenting this information about what Donald Trump said about that 10-year-old girl on the escalator, said I could date her in 10 years, and how he, talks about walking into the Junior Miss America pageant while they're all naked because he can do that because he's the owner. And they're like, he never said that. Well, you're taking it out of context. What fucking context do I need? You're fucking talking about, children in a sexually explicit manner. There's no other fucking context that needs to be taken in. You fucking sick fuck.
Well, and not only that, mind you, this is coming from the Save Our Children crowd. These are the people who were so fucking serious. And you know what? Let me back up a little bit. That's not a sentiment that I disagree with. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. I have kids. Pitt has kids. None of us disagree with the idea, save our kids. None of us are against that. However, it's the way that it was weaponized. Like, this is your rallying cry, but this is also your fucking guy.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure if there was Epstein still around, he'd be somehow getting money to Trump in some way, shape, or form. I mean, the evidence is out there and it's been brought to the forefront. And then you have these extreme right that just like, no, it's taken out of context, or it was AI that made it up. It's like, I don't give how fucking one flying fuck how sophisticated fucking AI is. The fucker said it.
No. While you're doing that, so I'm gonna pivot a little bit. It's a tangent, but have you heard all of the different details about fucking Diddy that have been coming out?
I've heard some of the stuff. Last I heard he was put on suicide watch. But it's one of those things I've heard what he's accused of for the most part, and after that, I don't pay attention to Diddy.
So every time that a new detail comes out about this case, it sounds made up. It sounds like AI. They pulled 1,000 bottles of baby oil out of this man's fucking house. They found 700 plus dildos in his fucking house. Who does this?
My neighbor.
Jesus.
Well, I'm because we're tying this to Diddy, I really don't want to say what the shit that I want to say because it just makes it so fucking wrong. It makes me in the fucking wrong, and that's the way my fucking head goes. But it's just one of those things that it's like anybody else, they find this without the sexual allegations, like it's like let's say for instance, Maya Angelou passed away today, and as they were in her house, they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and 1,200 dildos. That would work. It's even though it's fucking Maya Angelou, it was still fucking work. But now you have somebody who's tied to fucking sexual allegations. It's like fuck, I can't use it.
So I actually had to go look it up because I wanted the exact number here. 784 dildos. Why?
Curious. What were the sizes?
At that point, I have to assume that it's Jesus fuck. This is one on xxlmagazine.com. Oh Jesus.
Well, there goes your search history.
I am currently doing this yeah, this is what the fuck is it? What kind of browser is this?
Next thing you know, fucking Fuckerberg and everything else is gonna be sending you fucking ads for like XXL dildos and shit. It's like, oh, look at this one, it's a tentacle. Ah!
Although I will say that's one thing I still find hilarious is so anybody who is still on Twitter right now, I'm just there for the shit show. And titties. But anyway, so
wait, there's titties on Twitter now?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, looks like I'm getting a fucking Twitter account back.
So after Elon did his thing and he said he was talking to his sponsors, go fuck yourselves, which I love that because he clearly was expecting applause that did not come. But after that, all the ads on Twitter is dick pills. So I'm like, you meant that literally, didn't you?
Blue Chew.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen that one on there too.
Honestly, I'm as much as I love TikTok, I'm getting pissed off at my TikTok feed. I really am because it's showing me like the same four fucking things. First one is showing me these women who are flashing themselves really quickly and stuff like that, or now masturbating, which I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
Holy shit!
No, I'm very much okay with that. The second one, that's really fucking annoying is the Blue Chew ads. Okay, you know what? I don't give a shit. Even if I use fucking Blue Chew, I don't want to see the fucking ad all the goddamn time. Okay, whether it's Viagra or Cialis, I don't want to see the fucking ad constantly be like, "Hey, don't forget to take your fucking boner pill." Third thing I'm fucking getting. Why am I getting fucking toenail removal and fucking pimple and fucking blackhead removal fucking videos on TikTok? I don't look at that shit. That's fucking shit. It makes me want to vomit. I see it's like, because I'm sorry. If you have a foot fetish out there, I applaud you. You have a stronger will and constitution than what I have, because feet to me are disgusting.
Yeah, it's one of those things like look, whatever you're into, I don't have to be into it, but like some of them, that's one of them. Like I just don't get it. I'm not gonna shame them. I'm not gonna shit talk them, but I just don't get it. There's only one time where I actually was kind of doing it, but it's more because that guy was a dick. And when he always had to steer the conversation back towards him. So first off, he did have a foot fetish. He was also really, really big on CBT, cock and ball torture. Like he liked getting kicked in the nuts, which I don't
see. As a former psychologist, you said CBT. I'm like, yeah, cognitive behavioral therapy.
Nah, he liked getting kicked in the nuts. And so, just as an example, when I say that he always had to steer the conversation back towards himself, somebody mentioned one time they were watching Iron Man, and he said, like, oh, I have iron balls. Nobody was fucking talking to you.
Sad thing is you and I both know several people that are like that.
Yeah, we've known a few of them. I don't think that we're allowed to tell y'all some of the stories.
I'm sure there's several stories we can tell. We will just change the names to protect those of the not innocent.
I still remember one. I still laugh about it to this day. Is it was in your original room that I was in. Like there was this older couple, and that they were always oversharing pictures and videos and shit. And then there was one. I just fucking left the room in the middle.
Yeah.
And then I tried to come back like, oops, my finger slipped. No, it didn't fucking slip.
No. Yeah, I know exactly which couple you're talking about. I haven't heard from them in years. Thank you, Odin.
Actually, you know what though? I might have to mention this to you later offline because this is mentioning a few other people that honestly, like nobody listening to this has a fucking clue who we're talking about.
I don't know.
But,
it's possible. Depends on who we're talking about. The people out there may know.
Well, so the one woman I was talking to, do you remember Courtney?
Yes.
So you know that her and her husband, like they split. Like, actually,
that's what I've heard.
Do you know why they split?
No.
Because he actually was involved with that woman from that couple.
Oh.
Okay. That's a hell of a downgrade. I'll say that much.
It's not a downgrade. That's
he jumped off the fucking cliff.
He didn't just jump off the fucking cliff. He fucking tripped, rolled down the fucking cliff, through the fucking forest, and actually found another fucking cliff.
Yeah, that one was wild. Yeah, she was telling me about that. Like, well, she told me about it in pieces. I knew about it happening. I didn't know who it was. I find out who it was. I'm like, Jesus fuck. Like,
yeah. Oh, I know. I'm sure we got a whole bunch of stories that we can get into, but I think we're gonna save that for another podcast.
Yeah.
So, all right. But we thank you for joining us again for another edition of Men Behind the Curtain, the podcast about everything and nothing all at once. We hope you have a wonderful time. We will see you in 1 week.
Yep. And also one other thing I do want to point out, I mentioned this on the TikTok that I posted yesterday. I do also have iHeartRadio opened up. So that is on our link tree, which I've been making sure the link tree is in all of our descriptions on these videos. So you can find it there as well.
Yes, he's on top of it. I just do the editing and post-production shit. So, all right. With that being said, till next time, I'm Pitt.
I'm Eli. Thanks for listening or watching. You guys have a good one.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.